Hi everyone! In today's video, we are going to be discussing why someone with schizophrenia may go off their medications. Hi and welcome back to the Living Well with Schizophrenia channel. My name is Lauren and I make videos about what it's like living with schizoaffective disorder or schizophrenia. And if you'd like to see more videos about this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you would like to help support the creation of videos like this one, please check out the link to our Patreon page in the description below. Once you become a patron, you also gain access to our private Discord community where we offer various forms of peer support, including weekly peer support groups. If this Discord community is of interest to you, or if you would just like to help support us in creating these videos, please check out the link to our Patreon page. Also, a huge thank you to all of our current patrons. We could not be doing this without you. All right, so a frequently asked question is, why do people with schizophrenia go off their medications? Or why are people with schizophrenia sometimes adverse to taking medications? There are a lot of potential answers to this, and I will share some of my own as well as some common experiences of why people may go off their medications. So the first one, and possibly the biggest one in my opinion, is anasignosia. Now, we did a video on what anasignosia is that you can check out for more information, but basically anasignosia is a lack of insight into the illness. And so it's when someone doesn't really know that they're sick. So sometimes I go into periods of wellness where I start to question if I even have schizoaffective disorder, and the insight that I have kind of lessens in a way. And I think, well, maybe I don't need medications, which can lead to going off medications. Or the other way is that I start to become unwell and I start to become deluded about the medication's impact on my illness. And if I have the illness, and the anasignosia comes into play for that as well, where I don't have proper insight into my illness and into the necessary treatments for it, which again leads to going off medication. I think anasignosia is a really common thing that people with schizophrenia experience, and it's just kind of part of having the illness, unfortunately. And so, in order to counteract this, it's really important to, do as much work around self-acceptance as you can, and as much internal reflection about what it means for you to have the illness and what it means for you to maintain wellness. And if you're supporting someone who is experiencing anasignosia, it can help to just kind of tease out these feelings with them and just try to talk to them as openly and as much as possible. Educating yourself about the illness is also a really good way to combat this anasignosia. Having more information at your disposal helps you to kind of see past this lack of insight. The second thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of why people may go off their medications is concurrent disorders. So this is when someone has schizophrenia as well as experiencing a substance use problem. So this can kind of go both ways, where sometimes the medication that someone is on for their schizophrenia can lessen the effects of the substances they are using, which makes them not want to take the medication. Likewise, sometimes the substances that they're using lessens the effectiveness of the medication that they're on, which again can make them feel like there's no point in taking the medication. So I know for myself personally, if I have had a little bit too much to drink, on a rare occasion, it lessens the impact of my medications, which makes me feel like, well, what's the point in taking medications? And so if I'm feeling that with, not having substance use as a problem that I'm experiencing on the regular basis, I can only imagine how it might feel for someone who is experiencing a more continuous issue with substance use. I did a video on addiction and schizophrenia, which can maybe give more insight into the spiral of maladaptive coping, but also, if you're dealing with addiction, that can often lead to other social issues such as housing insecurity, financial insecurity, and these sorts of things can make it very difficult to, focus on or have enough resources to address getting medication and focus on taking medication in order to help your schizophrenia. So there are a lot of different layers involved when dealing with substance use issues and schizophrenia. The next point that I want to talk about as to why some people with schizophrenia may want to go off medication is just having not a very good relationship with their care team or their care providers. So for me personally, I have had less than ideal experiences with some care providers in my past, which made me just kind of lose hope in terms of following through with treatment and with medication. And it made me just feel like I don't really trust these people, and the medication isn't helping, and this isn't helping, and so what's the point? And I think that, that relational component with your care team is a really important piece that is sometimes often overlooked. The best kind of example that I can think of is two different psychiatrists who treated me on two different occasions in the hospital. One I did not get along with, and I don't think we had a very good reciprocal relationship. And I just did not want to engage in discussing treatment with him at all. And I just was not open to hearing about the medication that he wanted me to try or the treatments that he wanted me to try. And I didn't accept medication from him. Whereas the next psychiatrist, I had a much better relationship with. And, she really took the time to build that relationship with me. And I felt comfortable sharing with her in return. And we had a much more, reciprocal nature to our relationship. And I did accept treatment from her. And I understood the importance of taking medication, from her guidance. And so, these differences in treatment relationships, I think, indicate the importance of having good, reciprocal relationships with your care team. And the next point that I want to talk about is a really big one. Some of the studies on this indicate that it's not as big as the first three that I mentioned, but I struggle greatly with it, and I think a lot of other people struggle too. And that is around side effects of the medication, such as antipsychotics. Side effects that are often experienced with these type of medications can frequently include, lethargy, weight gain, fogginess, confusion, sometimes, drooling or, lack of control over things like that. Sometimes it can lead to lactation. It changes your sex drive. It changes just overall your ability to function. These side effects, can really negatively impact your life, and it can be very, very difficult to manage them and to live with them, which is a huge reason why people who are taking these kind of medications that lead to these side effects end up not wanting to take those medications. Another potential reason why someone may go off medication is the simple reason of the cost of the medication. A lot of times these medications aren't covered or aren't fully covered for a lot of people in the world. And so, cost of the medications is a barrier to taking them. There can also be the reason where, they don't find that symptoms are really improving. And so again, there's kind of that, well, what's the point in taking these medications? And then also, if you're feeling this kind of what's the point and you're experiencing side effects and stuff, that can, obviously lead to things like depression. Depression can also just happen on its own in conjunction with schizophrenia. And, when you're feeling depressed, it can be hard to keep up with things such as taking medication. And that can be a reason why someone may go off or neglect to take medication as well. Now, the flip side of this, which is, mania, I have schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And so people who have this component of bipolar disorder may experience periods of mania. And so I know for me personally, when I have started to experience periods of hypomania, which is just kind of a step below mania, but it's still an elevated mood and state, it feels really good. And it kind of leads you to be like, well, maybe I should stop taking my medication so I can feel really, really good, and go into mania. And so that can be another reason why someone may go off their medication if they have the bipolar component to their illness as well. If you are having any of these thoughts about wanting to go off your meds for any of these reasons or any other reason, it's really important to be honest about this with your care team and to just, try to talk it through, and hopefully they'll be able to help guide you in a direction that will address your concerns or address the things that you're struggling with. So these are just some of the reasons that I've thought of that I've experienced or that I know of that other people have experienced. If you have any other reasons why you've thought about going off meds yourself, we would love to hear from you in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful at all, please hit the like button. And also, if you would like to see more videos from us, make sure to subscribe. Also, just a quick reminder that if you would like to help support the creation of these videos, to please check out the link to our Patreon page. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.